Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed an immediate investigation into the accidental bombing of Tudunbiri in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State by the Nigerian army on Sunday, which led to the death of many villagers. In a statement on Tuesday by presidential spokesperson Ajirin Galale, the president sympathized with the families of the victims and the Kaduna State government. President Tinubu describes the incident as very unfortunate, disturbing and painful, expressing anger and grief over the tragic loss of Nigerian lives. He also directed a thorough and full-fledged investigation into the accident and called for calm while the authorities looked diligently into the mishap. Meanwhile, residents of Tudunbiri village in Kaduna State's Igabi district have reported that 85 people have so far been buried after an army drone strike accidentally hit the village in northwestern Nigeria, killing dozens of civilians celebrating a Muslim festival. The Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, said dozens of the people wounded were taken to a teaching hospital following a meeting with army officials and community leaders. He said the attack left several citizens dead and others injured, but it did not provide a toll. According to the army, it was a routine mission against the militants that inadvertently affected members of the community.
The Nigerian army was on a routine mission against terrorists, but unfortunately, some members of the Tudunbiri community were affected. Search and rescue efforts are still ongoing as dozens of injured victims have been evacuated to Barrow Diko Teaching Hospital by the government.
And joining me on the news to discuss this is Ahmed Musa Husaini, a security analyst, and he joins me from Abuja, Nigeria. Thank you so much, Ahmed Musa Husaini, for talking to us.
Thank you.
This is how I want to start. In the place of war or in situations where army or this security personnel combat insurgents, is it always hard to distinguish between a civilian or civilians in some cases and insurgents or terrorists? Is it always hard to strike a balance in identifying who is a threat and who is just an ordinary citizen or a dweller in a particular settlement?
All right, thank you. Yeah, I agree that actually during insurgency stations like ours, it is always difficult, sometimes oftentimes difficult to distinguish between civilians and armed insurgents, especially when such armed insurgents actually try to blend with the civilian population. But I think what we have in the case of Tudunbiri is a bit different because there is no any substantive proof that those terrorists that the Nigerian army claim to be pursuing are actually blending with the civilian population. And one should expect that given our decades of experience in fighting insurgency, our security agencies should be actually adept at preventing such losses due to collateral damages.
One would have thought, Ahmed, that a security apparatus like the army, which is the #1 security outfit in the country, would have done its due diligence with gathering intel before attacking a particular place. As a security analyst, what is the place of intelligence gathering for a security outfit, most especially the army, when it comes to fighting insurgency or trying to secure a particular area?
Yeah, so actually the attack, this strategy is actually worrisome because the Nigerian army has its own code of conduct for operations such as this. And the reports we are getting is that it is due to, it was caused by a drone attack. So we have to also, there's several questions actually that the army needs to explain to Nigerians. And I'm actually glad that the president has ordered an investigation, and we have to wait for the outcome of that investigation. But such questions Nigerians should keep asking is, actually, what are the code of conduct that the Nigerian army has in place to prevent, collateral damages, to prevent civilian casualties during such insurgency operations? who actually ordered that attack? Has that code of conduct actually been followed? If it is followed, then it is definitely inadequate at preventing civilian death and it needs to be reviewed. And if it is actually not being followed, then some heads needs to roll because who actually gives the order? Because for a military, to order such strike in a civilian area, there needs to be some kind of human physical intelligence on ground to corroborate whatever intelligence that they may have from the above, from the skies, even the unmanned aerial vehicles. So these are the kind of questions that people need to ask, and these are the kind of questions that we hope the investigation that the president actually ordered would unravel. But definitely, this is a horrible, unacceptable, and avoidable tragedy.
Well, we can see some of the residents moving around there while they count their losses. Now, Ahmed, how will these incidents impact the relationship between the army and local community? What steps do you think can be taken to rebuild trust and confidence between them, most especially these communities that are being affected by such accidents?
Yeah, this is actually a very difficult test on civil-military relations in Nigeria generally. And, our military actually has a very unsavory reputation in most cases, and it's been doing some kind of reforms recently in order to, improve its image, especially, among our civilian population. Yeah, decades of military rule has actually created an image of impunity and arbitrariness on the parts of our armed forces. And lately, under democratic rule, we've been seeing some moves actually to try to improve that image to conform our military tradition, to democratic best practices. So this is going to actually further some form of distrust between civilian population, between our communities and the military. And for the military or for the government to actually regain such trust, number one, there must be a thorough, fair, and unbiased investigation to unravel, to unearth the causes of this tragedy. And secondly, there must be some repercussions. The people that are behind this tragedy must be punished because errors, of course, happen during counterinsurgency operations like this, but these errors are unacceptable, and people that are behind such tragedy must pay for it. And then thirdly, there must be compensation. People that are affected, the victims of this tragedy, must be fully compensated. And then fourthly, there must be a review of such operational procedures or protocols that the army employed in, approving such attacks, so that we ensure that such tragedies do not happen again.
Ahmed Musa Husaini, thank you so much for your contribution.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.